What's on your evil mind?
Hold your insulting tongue and mock my words well.
How about this rumor that you are really Iron Man, Mr. Stark?
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Comic Book Chronicles, and Happy Merry New Year! We made it to 2026, folks. Exactly. Hit it again.
Merry New Year!
Exactly. We made it over the hump. We're in a new year. Hopefully prosperity or more prosperous and a better year to come to one and all.
Always.
I am your host, Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at News Notes Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CPCaps on Instagram. And the sound effects you've heard come from none other than our man in Brooklyn, @agent_70 on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, and the Threads.
What's up, everybody? Co-hosting from the Borough of Kings, live and direct. We are celebrating 2026 in style. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn.
Indeed. We hope folks have had a good New Year's, didn't get too terribly drunk, and hopefully, you know, the fireworks didn't trigger too many people.
Right. If you are hungover, hopefully it has worn off. You have taken enough remedy to log in with us and hang out with us tonight.
Indeed. And if you're still hungover from last night, what in the hell did you get into?
Listen, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, it is a holiday.
I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, it has long since I've ever tried to see myself getting that drunk. So that's just a me thing. I do know it's happened, and I've been around people way that drunk.
Yep.
So it was just probably another reason why I don't get that drunk. But that's a whole nother situation. Like I said, hopefully everybody had a good time, and we're coming into the new year, you know, with new positivity and whatnot. But right now we can safely say that, hey, we are still, well, safely say that sounds like something's not right, but we are. I was trying for a transition, folks. What can I say? You can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network. That's CSPN.us. I'm screwing stuff up.
Do it today.
I promise I am not drunk. And you can also find us on your podcast perusal place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, all that, and the Cold Slither SoundCloud page. Yeah.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
Indeed, and I'm sure once you hear this, it might sound, if you're on the audio version, this is going to sound like what I say at the end of the show. It's probably because I've copied and pasted it. But folks, we are going to get into the proceedings. It was definitely a light week this week because of the holidays, so this should make for a nice, neat, relatively quick show. And I'm not saying relatively quick because we can yap, but we are going to start off with the first book that we have in common, which is The Undead Iron Fist, number 4 of 4.
Alrighty, The Undead Iron Fist, number 4 of 4 is written by Jason Liu, with art by Fran Galan, colors are by Jim Campbell, and letters are by VC's Travis Lanham. So we get to the end and the final, I guess, retcon, as it were, of, you know, everything that has been established since the Immortal Iron Fist series was first kicked off by Matt Fraction and Ed Brubaker, right? Where there is the Book of the Iron Fist, and there's a reason behind it. There's a source material that kind of moved the Iron Fist let's say, like, creating more lore and canon for the character. And that was a pretty fruitful storytelling source. This kind of serves to put the Iron Fist lore on its head, and it's now setting up for, spoiler alert, future stories. And I'll hand it off to Roddykat with that in mind.
Indeed. So, yeah, this whole story was about Danny Rand coming back from the grave, which we knew at some point he was going to be back anyway, but he's been given not necessarily a new title, but kind of, let's just say, he and Moon Knight, in this respect, have a thing in common now.
Right.
The difference being is that, well, I guess at this point, the way things worked out for Moon Knight is did not exactly end up for now as for Danny Rand as it did for Mark. So, and I say for now because as Agent 70 alluded to, yes, there is definitely more stories coming, including something that I don't think we might have talked about, but I can't remember. A new book that is coming out next March. Excuse me.
Right,
so yeah,
right.
So yeah, so the whole thing is like Agent 7 said. Yeah, there was apparently, from what we find out from that one shot going into this, there was somebody behind the Danny's killing, and apparently it was a thing that has been a long running plot. Let's just say.
Right. Like I said, it's kind of like a twist on what was established in the Immortal Iron Fist lore. Mm-hmm. From that Brubaker and Fraction book forward.
Yeah, which I was going to make a joke and say, well, now I don't have to read that book now that it's that happened. But now at some point I'm still going to actually read it because I've been curious about reading that for a good minute now. But all that to say that, yeah, going into this, we finally found out, we finally meet up with the big bad who's been throwing stumbling blocks in Danny's way. And we get to a point in this without going into anything too specific of this. And as I say in my notes, all's well that ends until the next episode, basically. Right. So, and definitely leaving some folks with some questions along the way that I'm sure will probably get answered in that next book. So, this book wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, as I thought it could have been. Because honestly, when we came into this book, we were like, yeah, Danny's going to be back from amongst the living, which technically kind of is the case, but not not fully and functionally at the end of this. But again, it still opens the door for that to continue to happen.
Right. They're definitely extending the story a bit. It's not just a one and done, and it's not finished in this particular 4-issue arc, but it is like this is definitely a stepping stone for the future of the story of the Iron Fist. And what we find out, and we've seen in solicitations and in the news that what's going to come down the road is going to involve multiple characters, so it's not just Danny Rand.
Mm-hmm. And I did forget to mention that, and during the course of this story, which especially the last issue, between this and the last issue, he did kind of sort of get a new name, which again kind of puts him on a similar footing to Spider-Gwen in a way. Again, whether it sticks or not, and whether that's the official name or not, and everything along with that sticks, we shall see. But until then, Danny's 16 blocks moment is over and done with for now, and things are dealt with, sorta. So we shall see where that next book takes us. And with that, we will go to the next book that we have in common, which is a new number 1 of the week. And that book is Sorcerer Supreme number 1.
Sorcerer Supreme number 1 is written by Steve Orlando with art by Bernard Chang. Colors are by Ruth Redmond, and letters are by VC's Corey Petit. So we have here kind of the logical fallout from the ending of One World Under Doom, mm-hmm. Right? Kind of like the post-credits ending of One World Under Doom. And everything flows directly out of that. And all of the logical steps that kind of, the logical next shoe to drop is everything that happens in this issue, and it makes sense, right? If you're even slightly familiar with how the title of Sorcerer Supreme is traditionally handled in the Marvel Universe, you start to be able to put together some of the puzzle as this issue's going along. You can see how Wanda, there's no spoiler here, right? She's on the cover. Wanda in this new office is a different fit, right? Very much a square peg in a round hole. Mm-hmm. And the rest of Marvel's magicdom kind of views it the same way. And ultimately, and I'll hand this off to Roddykat on this note, I definitely played a very popular, very catchy ditty that came out during WandaVision on Spotify. It was not a sponsor, but definitely a tool that, all I have to say is dun, 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 who is, whatever. Mm-hmm. The point is, I played that as soon as I finished reading this.
Makes sense. And that'll give you a clue to something that happened, but we still won't tell you. So yeah, this is a potential click of the week actually for me. The story is what it is because it's like, yeah, after, the Earth needed a Sorcerer Supreme, how in the world did Wanda actually get the title, as we've found out prior to this? And this issue actually answers that question pretty much not off the bat, but halfway through this. So we didn't necessarily have to wait for it for like 10 issues.
Right.
We see her basically handing over the reins to the last thing she was doing to one Darcy, who has a style change and continues to learning the ways of magic, and while Wanda goes into her new station and her new abode, to which there are people, let's just say, that are people and or entities that are not exactly fond of the fact that Wanda has the station now, including some folks that are normally associated with the title of Sorcerer Supreme for reasons that you find out in this book. But someone who was happy, and I was happy to see, was Bats. Always happy to see Bats. He's a good boy. He's a good ghost boy. So, but yeah, we see Wanda kind of putting some things together, and in the station. Actually, she's doing something that you think. Well, let's face it, Steve probably would never do it. He's like, I can do all of this myself. But because Wanda's has this new station, she kind of had to call in some folks to some soundboards and some folks to kind of challenge her, and the people that shows up, with exception of one, which was unaccepted, are people you kind of would expect to be around her, kind of be in her ear. And in fact, the one person that you didn't expect that shows up here in that capacity was in my notes. I had a question about early on in the issue. It was like, wait, didn't they like get loose? But maybe I might have missed something out of one of Wanda's last series or something, because it was like clearly there was something that happened that I don't remember reading. So that being said, hey, you know what? The art in this is clean, as I say in my notes. So just shout out to Bernard Chang and Chang, and shout out to obviously the colorist Ruth Redmond for the colors popping, and Russell Dauterman for the designs that if you're watching the video version, you can see one of them. I don't know if she did that other fit that she had on in the course of this issue, but he did the other fit, but the one just on the cover is the one that Russell Dauterman did. So nice. Wilder's got a couple of nice fits in this joints, and we also find out some staples of the Sorcerer Supreme. We find out what happened to them, to those things, which I totally forgot about. Had been something happened to them during the course of One World Under Doom. was like,
Right,
oh right,
right.
that
But
did
that
happen.
happened. But what I was going to say is that was part of that kind of post-credit scene in One World Under Doom,
Was it? Because I
where
thought that was something that happened like when Doom just went. Yeah.
with the vestments, right? Well,
Right.
well, that's part of the story, right? What happens to them is part of the story. How they come to Wanda
Right.
is part of the post-credit scene.
Right. Right. But they
So-
go a little bit further into that during.
Oh no, like I said, that's part of the other foot. That's part of the other shoe dropping, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of logical follow up in this story,
Mm-hmm.
based off of all of the things that happened in One World Under Doom. So, I'm happy about seeing this character kind of step to the fore. I'm happy that this character is kind of embracing this part of her identity, because they're definitely, when I say they, I mean Marvel. I mean Marvel editorial, I mean Marvel creators, Marvel writers.
Mhm.
They're definitely embracing far more of the character's magical side, as opposed to what could have been mutant powers, what could have been, what's been interpreted before as being altering probabilities, and has now become very much chaos magic. And they've really done a lot of expounding upon and like kind of explaining that away as like a separate form of Marvel based magic. So it's magic. It's mumbo. It's a different form of mumbo jumbo. So
Yes.
so ultimately, what we're dealing with is like a very different incarnation of Wanda's magic now, and they're taking it in a different direction. So we have to kind of I say buckle up and ride the wave and see where they take this. The characters really come a long way when it comes to being a magic user. So this is I think a pretty big step up.
Agreed.
So this is worth sticking around, sticking around with to see how it goes.
Now, herein lies my problem with that. And not the problem with what you said, because I agree with it. The problem I have is, will they stick with it for that long? Because as we know, sometimes those things don't stick, especially stuff like this.
Sure.
So I do hope they let it have some legs and not be like, oh, you know what, Steven's back and we know he's going to be back at some point anyway, but he's going to be back and they're just going to find some way to gin up a way to give it back to him and everything will be back to status quo and whatnot. And
They did the same thing to Brother Voodoo,
exactly,
aka Dr. Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how long it lasts.
Right. So yeah. So hopefully this has a little bit more legs than some other things that Marvel has done. Like, you know what, they could have let that breathe a little bit. So we'll see. Either way, that is Sorcerer Supreme #1. Look forward to checking out more of this book. As we go into, actually, funny that Agent 70 mentions a little bit of mumbo jumbo, because we kind of get into a little bit of that with the next book, which is Ultimate Endgame #1 of 5.
Ultimate Endgame #1 of 5 is written by Dennis Camp, with the art kind of being split up with the Dodsons, Terry and Rachel Dodson, doing half the story outside the dome, and Jonas Sharp doing the prologue and inside the dome art, with colors by Federico Blee for outside the dome, and Edgar Delgado doing the prologue and inside the dome colors. Letters are by VC's Corey Petit. So yeah, there is a lot happening here. It's definitely tied into Ultimates number 19, which we'll discuss shortly. Bottom line, though, is moves are being made in the seconds, really in a seconds leading up to the unleashing of the Maker from the city that he had been held captive in for 2 years. And that's really what we're dealing with in this first issue. Lots of moves are being made. We have a pretty interesting reveal about what is the true nature of this city. And I think that we're going to see a lot happen in these 4 upcoming issues. And I'll hand it off to Roddykat with that.
This is true, because this is, as it says, the end game. So basically what happens from here and going forward is going to be the end of the Ultimate Universe, as either as we know it or just in general again. But yeah, we start off with, we see what's happened, what the maker got into in a bit in the past. And as I say in my notes, man, the Eternals can't catch a break.
Nope.
And this is where we get a little bit of mumbo jumbo, because even the maker was like, you know what, it sounds silly when you say it out loud, which you can say that about a lot of old Marvel stuff.
Right.
So that kind of made me giggle a little bit. And then we cut to the present to, like Agent 70 said, we kind of get to, it's basically go time and everything's go. But of course, things don't necessarily go how one side planned it. Some wrinkles to the plan happen. And yes, if you are reading this in order, which this book was nice enough to say, because admittedly, I was going to read Ultimates 19 before I read this, but there was a footnote right at the beginning of this issue. It was like, hey, this takes place before that. So I was like, okay, skirt, read this.
I missed that. I totally read 19 first.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah, it was on the first page. I mean, it's blinking, you miss it. But so yeah, a lot of things, the things start popping off. You see, some other, you see one other part of the Ultimate Universe kind of come into play, which I'm still waiting for, if the other parts that have been pretty much held off on a wall come back, or by separate walls, because you do see a little bit of, we do see a little bit of Ultimate Black Panther a little bit, but we still haven't really seen much of the Ultimate X-Men side of the Ultimate Universe in the pages of either of this specifically, but it's the first issue, so things are going to come in. And we have started to see a little bit in the Ultimates, but as things kind of come together to the end. Funnily enough, we see, I would say, an homage. Now, what even an homage? It was definitely them. But we see a couple of characters, one particularly known for being in Marvel's UK side, that pops up in the 616 every now and then pop up. Because I was like, wait, is that Death's Head?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler.
The character makes a pretty big appearance.
Yeah, I'm sitting like, okay, that's, you know what? Bravo for that one. Because I really wasn't expecting that character, and granted, there's a lot to pull for the Ultimate Universe, but they really kind of been staying within a small ball. So good on. And we also, another similar character also shows in, which I will leave that one for folks to whatnot. And we also see a new version of a variant of another time traveling being that I would be none surprised if we see this person or this version or a version like this in an upcoming MCU movie. That's all I'll say about that. I would not be surprised. And yeah, like I just said, we see what happened to the city, and therein lies that. So it's definitely worth a check out if you've been keeping up with some parts of the Ultimate Universe, because let's face it, at some point you're not going to have the Ultimate Universe anymore. And with that, we are going to go into the next and related book in that situation, which is Ultimates number 19.
Ultimates number 19 is written by Dennis Camp, with art by Juan Frigeri, colors are by Federico Blee and Edgar Delgado. And letters on this issue are by VC's Travis Lanham. So this issue delves a little bit more deeply into what is happening with a particular character and member of the Ultimates is undergoing. And, it's no spoiler to talk about. This really delves into the history of Janet Van Dyne and Hank Pym. They are the two characters featured on the cover. And so we have, hints at betrayal, hints at changes of possible changes of heart, actually, and then we'll see how that carries forward into the story of the Ultimates and the Ultimate Endgame, because we have the introduction of a brand new character, kind of brand new, just a different Ultimate version of a character at the end of the issue. And with that, I'll hand it off to Roddykat.
And I was about to say, and because of that, there was an article that I chose not to put in this week because that would have been slightly spoiler for that character, and something that the article says was the case, which wasn't the case, but maybe we'll broach that next week. But yeah, so like I just haven't said, we get a little bit of backstory on Janet and Hank. We get a little bit of fallout, actual fallout from Ultimate Endgame, because something that happens there gets addressed here, or gets partially addressed here, coming out of that, which makes sense. Which is why they say read that first before this.
I'm actually looking for that now. I'm like, I don't see it.
It's basically a little footnote at the first page, or it might even be the title page. I can't remember.
Okay.
So,
of which book, Ultimates or
Ultimate Endgame?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna look for that now because I missed that completely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if it says anything actually, I think there is a footnote in here that points back to Ultimate Endgame. But Ultimate Endgame definitely said it right up front. So, but anyway, we get a little Ultron reference in the flashback, which was kind of funny, and some things that are definitely going to come back into play, much like with Sorcerer Supreme number 1. There's a couple of things that's definitely going to come back into the play into issues ahead. So this is another potential click of the week for me. And like I said, the last 4 or 5 issues, of this book, it's coming soonish. And with that, we are going to go to, I believe, no, that is it. Actually, that's the last book that we have in common. So let's get into a little bit of rapid fire.
Sure, and I absolutely, positively do not see this footnote.
Okay.
Not even on the title page.
Fascinating, Captain.
Yeah. I'm just like, what is he talking about?
Oh, no, it's like, I'm not crazy. It is definitely there. Anyway, just go ahead and do the, so we're on to.
Sure. I mean, I'm just kind of like, what is he talking about? I will carry on. All right, here we go. Rapid fire review time, folks. There's not a lot, but we're going to rapid fire it.
I ain't got time to bleed.
First up for me is X-Men Age of Revelation finale number 1. It's written by Jed MacKay, with pencils by Ryan Stegman and Nitho Diaz. Inks are by J.P. Mayer. Colors are by Marcio Moniz, and letters are by VC's Clayton Cowles. So we have to confess something. I have to confess something. I have not read very much of X-Men Age of Revelation or any of the tie-in issues. I started off strong, but fell off very quickly. There was a lot to digest over the course of 3 months. For me, though, I needed to circle back and see how this mini event or this event would, how it would impact future storytelling, right? And that's what made reading this worth it. Ultimately, what I found is that it is going to be the triggering event for several stories that are going to move forward. It's much more of a Days of Future Past type effect as opposed to an Age of Apocalypse type effect. That's really what that seems to be the theme here, I think. We're looking to prevent something from happening, and that is going to be what is the story moving forward in the X books. And that's it for me.
Sorry, I was looking at, there was some, what looks like a weird audio issue that I hope is not the case, because that's going to be a bummer. Wait, now I'm doing the same thing I said I wasn't going to do. Yeah. Say something.
Check 1, check 2.
Yeah, hopefully that's not going to be an issue later. All right. Anywho. And just, so yeah, I slightly erred. So it was indeed Ultimates 19. It was if you look at right at the top of the data page at the beginning of the book.
Okay.
Yeah, it says right at there, it says this issue takes place after Ultimate, and not the other way around.
Got it. Because I'm looking at it like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, because that's what made me stop. Because it was like, well, I saw that, when I read Ultimates, and I was like, so, but I mixed up the books. That note was in.
Got it. I see it now. I see the note, and I totally missed it because I totally bulldozed my way through.
And sometimes, it's not even a bulldoze. It's like, you figure you've been up on the book. Therefore, the data page would not have much to offer that you didn't already know. I'm assuming, I can't speak for you, but that's usually how I go into things like that. So it just so happened that I saw that note, because I would have done the same thing. So that being the case, though, we are going to, let's see, my book is Marvel Knights, The World to Come, number 5 of 6. Okay, I was about to say, and now you hide from me. There we go. Written by Christopher Priest, art by Joe Quesada, colors by Richard Isanove, and letters by Richard Starkings and Comic Craft's Tyler Smith. Another potential click of the week for me. Agent 70 said that he was, Agent 70 was trying to catch up with this prior to the show, and I was like, just don't do it, because those last couple of issues were a little, were kind of dense. You just come at them at your own time. So and that being said, I will try not to spoil the thing, and hopefully he won't look at my notes. But as I told him, there's a couple of things that were brought up in the last couple of issues that kind of sort of pay off here, leading up to the last issue of the book, next issue. So this is basically a future. We don't know if it's the future, or as in tends to happen, a future of this part of the Marvel universe. I will say that Priest and co are definitely putting in some real world allegories in this issue that when you read it, it's like, yeah, that's sound like some things that's happening here. Happening actually here. Priest kind of plays with his toys, as I say, with other, because he brought back a couple of folks that we hadn't seen in a minute. But yeah, that's we see the thing that's been happening in the last couple of issues, and that being, hey, Black Panther had an adopted son. And in true almost MCU-ish type fashion, there was a fight, and T'Challa got deposed by right of by right of combat, but not out for the count. But the adopted son took over and went completely full. Mm-hmm. And that's all I'll say about that, because like I said, and there's a couple of characters that actually, as far as I remember, Priest hasn't played with. One in particular that gets brought up in this book for, let's just say, a solution to a problem that wasn't there, but a problem for the antagonist here. And I had to say, no, not this character, because I don't want to give away who it is also. But But yeah, so it's a good read. It's just like I said, it's a little. The last couple of are a little bit dense. There's a little bit of density in this one, but like I said, some things kind of like you can see a little bit more payoff in this. So like, all right, I kind of see where he's getting to with this. So going into the last issue, next issue, it was like, all right, this is all kind of coming together like it was supposed to. Next up, Star Wars: The Bad Batch, Rogue Agents, number 1 of 4. So The Bad Batch is back. Written by Michael Morrissey, pencils by Reese Hannigan, inks by Elisabeth D'Amico, colors by Michael Atiyeh, and letters by Comic Crafts. Letters by Comic Crafts, Tyler Smith and Bobby Bradford. So this actually kind of reminded me that I don't think I finished reading the last story of the Bad Batch, which is coming from Star Wars, the hyperspace for stories from Dark Horse. So this is all still under that line. So this is not a Marvel thing. But the story is, hey, there's a scientist with lofty goals that has made claim to do something for the whole galaxy. That kind of goes away, and then we cut to the Bad Batch as we tend to do, doing what the Bad Batch does against some Clone Wars holdouts, while meeting up with some other Clone Wars holdouts, and we get to find out what's going on with that situation. And of course, things aren't as they seem when something like that happens, but you do get some sparks of fun from the from the batch, as they tend to do as they get into or out of trouble. And as I say in my notes, they find out why the story is named the way it is. So and there it is, because it gets spelled out right at the end of this, or in the middle of this, if you're paying attention. So therein lies that. The last book that I have is, and I should have put the soundbite here, but Flash Gordon, number 14, written by Jeremy Adams, art by Eder Messias and Tom Derenick, colors by Lee Luffridge, and letters by Taylor Esposito. So it's been a minute since I've talked about this book, and a few things have happened, such as a Flash from another dimension, Flash going into said other dimension, and in this particular issue, we see Flash coming back from said from the other dimension with some information and an army to basically go up against the alternate Flash and the Merciless. So, but the information he has to do with something he needs to go and find, while folks are trying to take on Ming and whatnot. While the other Flash, of course, being Flash Gordon, kind of figures out what he's trying to do and goes to head him off, which leads to a confrontation at the end of this book. And I can say all of that because I don't think I know too many people that's reading it, but it's still worth a read if you are interested in this. So, but that is Flash Gordon, and those are the books that I have. Kliqs of the week.
Kliqs of the week.
Yeah, like we said, short week, folks. But we managed to put it together. What you got for potential, sir?
I think that Ultimates 19 and Sorcerer Supreme number 1 are probably my candidates.
Okay, yeah.
I've just got to decide. How about you?
I agree with both of those, and I will add The World to Come number 5 or 6, as I said earlier. I mean, that Undead Iron Fist was all right, but you know what? We don't, we're gonna keep it to that. I mean, Ultimate Endgame was actually pretty good too. As a lead into, everything going down in that universe. So, Yeah, those are pretty much my picks. Or
I got a little lost in Ultimate Endgame, like in
yeah,
terms of like, all the things that were happening literally around the world.
mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to settle upon Ultimates number 19 because I just thought it was a pretty effective story. But
Oh,
I definitely like Sorcerer Supreme number 1 because a lot of it just made sense. Like I said, I can't stress it enough that so much of the story seemed to follow, kind of, you know, I really meant it when I said it was the other shoe dropping in a lot of, for a lot of the elements of the story. And, I'm looking forward to see how they're able to hopefully keep Wanda in this particular position for a long run.
right. Agreed. Agreed. Okay, so Ultimate number 13. Yeah, that the story of this the Ultimate version of Jan almost kind of heartbreaking in certain respects. But at least we got to see what kind of have been questioned when we found out what she was getting into. Like how did it get to this? And now we have
Right.
that answer. So that's great. And with that, I am just going to say that, and 8 to 70 kind of did a little bit of the heavy lifting for me because I have settled in on Sorcerer Supreme number 1 as my click
you
of the
go.
week. So all nice and neat. But definitely Ultimates 19 and Ultimates Endgame, are up there for certain. And that World of Gun book, but like I said, we keep it the way it
Bum,
is.
bum, 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 bum.
Indeed. And with that, folks, that ends the clicks of the week. We're going to get into the news section, but first, an ad read.
Our first ad read of the night is for Blue Apron's meal delivery service. Blue Apron, fresh ingredients and incredible recipes delivered weekly to your door. Skip the grocery store and make incredible meals at home with Blue Apron. Always shipped free right to your home. And now the listeners of the Comic Book Chronicles can get $30 off your first Blue Apron order. To place your first order with $30 off and to help keep our show free for you, go to our network website at cspn.us, that's cspn.us, then click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down to the Blue Apron link and sign up for your first order. Blue Apron through cspn.us. Do it today. And now we get into the news.
Cinematic news as we do about this time. Marvel officially releases the Avengers Endgame Thor trailer online as X-Men trailer heads to theaters apparently. So the Thor trailer, which has been reported and rumored, launched in theaters ahead of Disney's Avatar: Fire and Ash. It replaces the Steve Rogers Captain America trailer that had kicked off the Doomsday hype, according to this article, and the much leaked trailers, because I guess there are 2 more still to go if those are gonna come out. But this article kind of goes through what the trailer kind of goes through. We might even be getting a little bit more serious Thor in this go around from accounts. I have not watched this trailer yet, so I don't know, but I saw another account that kind of made it seem like they're going a little bit more serious. And I know Hemsworth kind of got weary of playing the character as it was, even though people liked the way that character was. A little bit silly. So, but therein lies that, and you can check out the trailer for yourself if you haven't already in the show notes. Next up.
Alrighty, next up, Wonder Man trailer finally reveals new MCU superheroes' powers. I have not watched this yet. Marvel's Wonder Man miniseries has released a new trailer, and this one is showing off the titular character's superpowers for the very first time. Let's see. As with so many other characters taken from the comic page to the MCU, this version of Simon Williams will have a different take. His powers are going to take on a different aesthetic for the screen. Let's see here. Oh, you have to watch it. Let's see here. Yeah, what are Wonder Man's powers? That's a good question. In Marvel Comics lore, Simon Williams was experimented on by Baron Zemo, who infused him with ionic energy. The result was Simon gaining superhuman powers, including enhanced strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, and reflexes on the level of Thor the Century. He was also granted near godlike powers of invulnerability and immortality, having returned from the dead at least once. Let's see here. So they don't talk about how it's changed for the MCU though, so we're left to watch the trailer and the show moving forward.
And that's fine. That show is forthcoming very soon, so that we definitely will be talking about that soon. You can see in the footnote, in the thumbnail, that he's definitely got the eye thing going on. So therein lies that suggestion. I suspect that they're not going to go full Ionic Wonder Woman or Wonder Man also. So
yeah,
I don't think we're going to get that. That'd be too crazy for the MCU.
We can only hope.
Nah, I don't think so. But yes, Disney Plus, all 8 episodes, as we've talked about before. January 27th is when all of them are going to drop, and we will definitely be talking about it probably the week later, I assume. Because 8 episodes in one night, that's probably... Well, I mean, they're supposed to be 30 minutes, but that's still a lot for one time. Next up, though, Ryan Coogler shares Black Panther 2's original story, excuse me, sorry. In the original screenplay, Coogler says the war with Namor still would have happened, but the main conflict would have involved T'Challa and his son, who would be stuck with him throughout the conflict and unable to seek refuge. So, saying that he was proud of the script and sorry it didn't get made, Coogler said that it was nevertheless a blessing to get to make a version of Wakanda Forever that centered on the women of Wakanda, something he was proud to do. He also promised that a third film is still on the way and that he needs to make that film because he's passionate about it, saying, "I'm in it for the heart. I got this movie on my heart." And you can imagine his Chicago accent with him saying that, because I'm not going to do it. But yeah, he says, I finished it and I hit him up to read it, and he was too sick to read, bro. I guess he was talking about, who was he talking about? He was talking about somebody. Coogler was talking to some podcast. So I'm assuming.
Oh, he's probably talking about
Chadwick, probably.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. Yeah, it says so later on down here. So, but yes, regardless. And it goes through, some other beats and Coogler's relationship with Chadwick and some couple other things that you can read for yourself in this article in the show notes. Next up.
All right, Marvel and DC have a lot riding on 2026. So, this particular article is...
Stop. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, this particular article is a quickie summary of everything that's going to pop up from the MCU and from the DCU in theaters in 2026. Everything from Spidey Brand New Day to Avengers Doomsday to to Supergirl, to Clayface, allegedly, September 11th, 2026. You picked the wrong dates. And, and Marvel TV as well, including Wonder Man, Vision Quest, Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Spider Noir. My goodness.
Mm-hmm, that's still a thing.
Yeah, X-Men 97 Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
DC TV is going to have Lanterns coming out, Invincible, and The Boys are, I guess, going to have something possibly coming out for 2026.
I believe, yeah. I believe Invincible is like supposed to be March, around March or something, if I remember correctly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned to the news because we'll have more concrete dates shortly.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of HBO Max, HBO Max finally brings back a cult DC movie, according to this article, back to streaming, and that movie is Constantine. Not the show, the movie with Keanu Reeves, which I remember when they took it off and people were sad about it, and for some strange reason now they got it back on here, but also because I think they're trying to do another Constantine show, and that's why they put it back on here, and I don't know if that show's coming in anytime soon. Or excuse me, they're trying to do another Constantine with a movie with Keanu. That's what it is, not the show. So I guess that's why they put it back on here, but we still don't know when that Constantine 2 movie is going to come back out or come out at any. Well, I kind of wish they would put the show on there if it's not on there, because that show was actually not bad. So anyway, next up.
Okay, next up, we have James Gunn responding to Wonder Woman casting rumors. Come on. So James Gunn loves to keep his cards close to the vest. So he shot down all discussion about Brainiac being the villain in the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow. That didn't stop casting rumors from running wild, but Gunn never took the bait, waiting until all was quiet on the DC Universe front to drop the bombshell that German actor Lars L. Eidinger will be playing the android. So let's see here. Gunn replied to a thread that claimed that Wonder Woman casting was underway and would be announced in January. Gunn was tagged, but he replied with one word, nope. So he said this.
Nope.
And there's no reason to panic because, you know, they're working on it. Let's just say that.
But also, January just started today as we're recording. Calm down, folks. And it's a long month. Calm it down. Next up, though, hey, if you wanted to get your X-Files fix, hey, it's on Pluto TV, free with ads, out there. And in fact, it was just it came today on New Year's Day as we were recording. If we didn't mention that at the top of the show, which I don't think we did. So yeah. If you're an X-Files fans and you don't already have them on, you know, have access to them one way, shape, or form, they're out there on Pluto TV. You can hear the theme song for yourself right now in your heads. I know you got there. I know y'all are out there. I just know it. And it's going to be on demand. It's going to be a streaming channel. So, yeah. According to this article, the channel will kick off by running through the entire series chronologically, which will be followed by curated weekend marathons. I don't know if they're going to do that Lone Gunman spinoff or Millennium, which is also another spinoff of that show. But hey, there you go. X-Files. Catch it. And now we go into the anime news.
Amazon's Prime Video to stream the Darwin Incident anime in North America. So, Toho Animation's original announcement on December 12th of the anime streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime Video did not specify if the anime would stream exclusively there worldwide. Okay. The anime will debut on TV Tokyo and its affiliates on January 6th. At 2400 hours, effectively January 7th at 12 o'clock a.m. The series will also debut on BSTV Tokyo on January 7th and on ATX on January 9th. The anime will debut streaming on Amazon Prime Video in Japan on January 7th at 12:30 a.m. Okay.
Right. So if you're very much itching for whatever this is and you have a VPN, hey, have at it, I guess. Good luck with subtitles because you ain't gonna get it. I don't think. Actually, I don't know.
Well, you have to wait for the North American release.
But that's what I'm saying. But if it's in January, well, I mean, they might actually have subtitles in there, but I don't think it'd be like English subtitles. So anyway, next up though, History Manga gets TV anime by Leiden Films. So I assume that's Leiden. Website opened up on Thursday to announce a television anime adaptation of Hitoshi Iwaki's History manga. And Leiden Films is animating the project, as I said. Iwaki noted in the announcement of the anime that he first conceived the story over 4 decades ago and first began sketching the art in his then tiny studio some 20-odd years ago. Kodansha's K-Manga is releasing the manga in English, and it goes into what the story goes into, which apparently, after shocking the world with Parasite, Hitoshi Iwaki is back with a series he's been aching to tackle since even before his pro manga debut, a historical epic set in ancient times. History tells the story of Eumenes? Sure. A young man with quick wits and vast destiny to fulfill. In time, he will become a famed army commander and personal secretary to Alexander the Great. But the road to this glory is fraught with danger. End quote. So yeah, there you go, folks. If that is of interest to you, it'll be out there at some point. Next up.
Spy Family Season 3 anime ending song special music video is now streaming. After the broadcast of the final episode of the TV anime Spy Family Season 3 in Japan, Toho Animation's official YouTube channel posted a special video featuring the ending theme song Actor, sung by singer-songwriter Lilas Ikuta. The clip consists of memorable scenes from Season 3 centered around the Forger family. I watched the season ending. I'm going to have to circle back and check out this video.
Indeed.
Yeah, the season finale, that
Yeah. I still need to catch up because I can't remember where I am. So I still haven't watched. I think I might have to watch this whole whatever season is. And
Season
also,
3? Yeah.
yes. And the movie, which I still haven't watched yet, actually, now that I think about it. And I even have it. So, anywho's.
Yeah, it's out there. I was going to say, that's all out on Crunchyroll.
It is indeed all out on Crunchyroll. Kpop Demon Hunters voice actors for Rumi and Jinu sets first joint interview on Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and that interview is coming, or it's going to be the episode will air on January 12th at 11:35 p.m. Of course, because that's whatever, and streaming on Peacock the next day. But I'm pretty sure nobody's going to catch that part. The news of Cho and Hyoseop's sit down with Fallon was announced in a teaser video NBC released on social media. In the video, you know what? We don't need to go into that. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you're not, you're not. The only news you wanted to know was what I've already said. But basically, they do a bit. So, for the announcement. Apparently, this is not the first time Fallon's show has been the platform for a Kpop Demon Hunter star, as the singing voices of Rumi, Mira, and Zoe performed Golden on the Tonight Show, right? And was on the couch. So there you go. Next up,
Chainsaw Man the movie Reze arc surpasses 10 billion yen at the Japanese box office. The film has stayed in the Japan box office top 10 for 15 consecutive weekends.
It is also on Crunchyroll.
Wait, is it now?
It is, yeah, because I was on there the other day and happened to run across it.
Oh, I'd be very happy to rewatch that. I would be very happy to rewatch that. That was a great theatrical experience.
I don't know if does it actually say in this, but I know I saw it, so I'm not crazy. I might act crazy sometimes, but I'm not.
No.
Anyway, but yeah, that's out there. I was like, okay, so when I catch up, I can just go straight on into it, and that's great. Yoroi Shin Den Samurai Troopers anime joins the battle in creditless opening video, The new Samurai Troopers series premieres on January 6, 2026. I'm sure if one Tim Dog 98 is the wind of this, maybe he might be, excited about this because I know he was a Samurai Troopers fan as well as I was. Although
Not me.
Yeah, well, you're
It
special.
came after. That's definitely post my cartoon experience.
Yeah, and for me there was no such thing as post. But yeah. So so the creditless video version of the anime opening is attached to this Crunchyroll article, and it is called Yaoke by Blank Paper, and apparently there's a hat tip to the original series that is in the video, so you can check that out for yourself. Next up.
Alrighty. Next up. Let's see. Crunchyroll announced that it has started streaming Kaguya-sama wa Kokurasalai Otona I no Kalden, The Steps to Become an Adult. Goodness gracious. The anime's new TV special in select regions on Wednesday. Crunchyroll also streamed the special's English subtitled trailer. Wow, that's a hardcore title. The anime special aired in Japan on Wednesday and ended with an announcement of a brand new Kaguya-sama Love is War film. Okay.
There are definitely longer titles in anime manga.
Yeah.
But so shout out to the restraint. But yeah, that's the thing. Next up, we get into a little bit of comic book news. And actually, before we do that, I would just like to point people to the clickbait section where you have stuff like DC's roundup of the best 10 DC comics of 2025, according to this site, and also the best Marvel comics of 2025, according to the same site. Clickbait section, check it out. But in the comic book news, James Tynion IV buys back the Woods' multimedia rights from Boom, while Tiny Onion builds its adult animation slate. So apparently James Tynion IV's Tiny Onion empire has expired and expanded another layer. Boom, boom. Haha. The creative studio has hired a director of multimedia to, quote, oversee development for the company's animated projects, as per a press release from Tiny Onion. So Casey Gonzalez will lead the charge in Tiny Onion's multimedia projects amidst the development of adult animated adaptations of The Woods, Something is Killing the Children, and World Tree, all written by Tynion. Then it goes into a little bit of Gonzalez's background and a quote, which we don't necessarily have to go into. And apparently this article says that there's some other stuff in the wings that's not. Oh, no, that is also another James Tynion thing that they're working on. So there you go. Next up.
Global Comics, available on iOS, Android, and the web, has announced a new year-long initiative with Marvel Comics titled Marvel Mondays. The program will add 10 new Marvel titles to the Global Comics Gold Library every Monday throughout 2026. Global Comics, a digital-first comics platform, has become an increasingly important player in the online comics ecosystem by offering one of the largest digital comic libraries available today. With more than 100,000 comics, the platform positions itself as a centralized destination for readers seeking both major publishers and independent voices under a single subscription model. It's apparently pretty neat.
So, funnily enough, before I saw this article, a few days ago I was on Reddit and I saw it's not a commercial, but an ad for them that I think, hey, year-end things, you can get X amount of percent off. Again, not a sponsor, but just saying. And they mentioned how, that they had like the largest number of whatever. I don't think I've seen any Marvel stuff up until I saw this, or maybe I did because you see stuff in the background. So I don't know. Maybe we might look into this if there's hey, here's a trial version, just to kind of see what that they got going on over there. So stay tuned for that, I guess, if that happens, or if they want to reach out. Hey, great. Next up, though, Jed MacKay bids farewell to Earth's mightiest heroes with Avengers number 36. Aw. But it was going to happen at some point. As previously announced, next month, the Avengers will be celebrating its landmark 800th issue with the return of Brian Michael Bendis. Wasn't going to read the words before that. Today, Marvel announced that that writer Jed MacKay, who began his run on the relaunch Avengers book 3 years ago. Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. We'll end his run with Avengers 36 in March. The issue will be drawn by current series artist Farid Karami. And to celebrate this pivotal moment in Avengers history, original series artist Sia Villa will return with special farewell variant cover that mirrors Stuart Eminem's cover for the debut issue of MacKay's run. And then it just goes into MacKay's run as we know it. So, yeah, there you go. Here's the cover, and at the bottom of it, it says the end of, oh no, this is a poster for it. So it's like, if you're not watching the video version, it's like it looks like an Avengers cover, and it has the creative team at the top. And at the bottom, it says the end of an era, March 26th. And it looks like it's going to go on sale March 4th. So, not going to look forward to that because I've been loving Jed MacKay's run for it. But again, we knew this was going to happen at some point. Next up.
Alrighty. Let's see what's next. New symbiote hero debuts in Web of Venom one-shot. Oi. This April, Jordan Morris, Ramon Rosanas, and Luke Ross bring back the red and blue symbiote costume. With the upcoming Death Spiral storyline next year from Marvel, it's no exaggeration to say the publisher is going all in on symbiotes. Oh my goodness. Right. A Web of Venom one-shot is announced for this April from that creative team. And Marvel readers are likely aware that a new red and blue Venom suit was recently introduced in Battle World number 3 with the introduction of Eddie Parker of Earth 8294. Okay.
We are now.
The suit reappeared earlier this month in Venom number 252, where Mary Jane took the costume for a spin as the all-new Venom. In this Web of Venom one-shot, the suit will be adopted by a familiar Spidey character. Okay.
J. Jonah Jameson.
More symbiote wearers. Let's go.
No, let's not go.
Let's go.
There are too many.
Goodness gracious. That's all I got to say.
Exactly.
Goodness gracious.
Just need to kill all of that, but I know it's not going to happen. Tony Stark is going to be forced to confront his past, and that is for the upcoming Joshua Williamson written Iron Man series that is coming. So apparently, Iron Man's latest threat is Tony Stark's origin story, which it sounds like they're going to retcon some things. Let's see. So at the start of 2026's Iron Man series will see Tony going up against a new enemy, but one created by familiar faces. Madam Mask and the forces of AIM are working together in this new series to create something no one has attempted to create before. Let me read on. I'll read this part. Instead of just trying to steal Iron Man's armor or force Tony to work with him, they've chosen to create their own Tony Stark. So in interviews, Joshua Williamson has said that the thing Tony created while in the cave with scrap wasn't just a set of armor. Instead, Tony rebuilt himself entirely. So, and it goes on from there. But yeah, we'll definitely be checking that book out when it happens, and I believe that is another March book, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, January 28th, 2026. So that is relatively soon, folks.
In a cave with a bunch of scraps.
Exactly. Next up, though.
Beloved comic book trope is about to save the Marvel Universe from Predator. Dun, 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 dun. This is spoilers for this week's issue. Predator kills the Marvel Universe #5. So apparently, Iron Man has just given the heroes of the Marvel Universe everything they need to beat Kraven's Predator army. Because of course, Kraven's going to have something to do with this.
Of course. The hunter and the hunted, or vice versa.
Yeah, apparently Tony outfits his fellow Avengers with Iron Man suits, of course.
Which, yeah, okay, sure. Apparently, this issue marks the finale of one of the most brutal hey, there's that whole thing that ended. The Predator thing, which I have not read any of those books. I know there was the Cap one and the Wolverine one and the Black Panther one. The Black Panther one was a Predator one, not an alien one. But I didn't finish reading that one. So yeah, there you go. Apparently the title is not a misdirection. This one's going to hurt. Your favorite heroes and villains will fall, even as others rise up against this extinction level event. So if that's a teaser that makes you interested in something that's probably not canon, go check it out. Next,
have fun.
Exactly, because there's a reason why neither one of us has read that stuff. Not saying it's not good, but it was like, what? Hey, this is just.
I mean, we can only read so much. That's kind of where I am with a lot of this stuff, folks.
I mean, there is a lot of that, yes, but at the same time, none of it. I mean, there's some stuff that just doesn't really appeal to be read in that as well. So, or at least in real time. DC Comic changes the name of a major new Batman villain ahead of her 2026 debut. So apparently the character formerly known as Lady Deathman is getting a new name, I guess. Let's see. Yes, in January, in Batman #5. DC is bringing a Japanese-inspired villain in January's Batman #5 called Lady Deathman, described as a sinister assassin coming to confront Batman and Robin. It was evoking a nearly forgotten classic 60s Bat villain named Deathman, later adjusted to Lord Deathman. And there's a character design, or there's a cover right there. So, and Jorge Jimenez, I'm assuming this is Jorge Jimenez.
Yeah.
Yes. Wrote on Facebook, says, I promise this issue is one of the best I've ever done. Matt's script has allowed me to explore new narrative avenues in this issue. I really enjoyed it, and I sincerely hope you like it. And yes, there was definitely an exclamation there. So, if you're up on that book, I think Agent 70 has been reading it, so you can.
I have.
So you can check that out next week.
Yeah.
Next up.
Okay. DC's Robin, Tim Drake, originally had a different name, but was only changed after his debut to pay homage to Batman director Tim Burton. Tim Drake's original name was Jeff, and one reference to the name was accidentally kept in one of his first Batman appearances. I will never, ever, ever quote those awful 21 Jump Street movies, because they did such a disservice to what was actually a pretty good TV show from the fledgling Fox network from back in the day. But I always laugh when I hear, is it Channing Tatum?
Let's say yes.
Yeah, when I hear Channing Tatum say, my name is Jeff. So
you're better than me, because I have not watched either of those, and I totally forgot there was two of them since you just said that.
God. Tim Drake has gone by many names over the years. He's been Robin, Red Robin, Alvin Draper, and Alvin Draper.
Yeah, I know, that's a new one.
And even the unfortunate superhero moniker, Drake. Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's a pedophile now. However, one name you might not be aware of is Jeff. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh. All right, so he says he believes it was. So in 1989, the Batman offices were developing the character. The name was changed as a way to honor Tim Burton. It was a nod to Tim Burton, who was, of course, directing the movie. Marv Wolfman tells Popverse in an email. The writer also clarifies that he likely still would have gone by the last name Drake. Okay. So Tim as in Tim Burton, not Drake.
Yeah. I remember, I feel like I've read when he got the moniker of Drake, and I'm just like, could y'all not think of anything? I mean, granted, Drake, I mean, you know, and it has another meaning outside of that, I'm sure. I believe there was an animal called the Drake or something. I don't know. Regardless, but y'all couldn't call him anything outside of that, huh? And isn't this not the same character who pretty much had a something happened to one of his kin in Identity Crisis? That was Tim Drake, if I'm not mistaken. So why would you go? Yeah. When his dad got. But anyway, so yeah, apparently Tim Burton was the inspiration of that, according to Marvel's and okay. And apparently, also, he was mistakenly called Jeff in Batman 444, which was fixed in reprints. So
Jeff,
you know, and here's the panel where apparently he was called that. That's weird. Anyway, next up, Tom King describes his all-encompassing relationship with DC Comics and DC Studios as one of love and potential. So this was something that came out of New York Comic Con, but apparently it's just being reported right now or recently. Let's see. Tom King sat down in the Pop spot with Pop versus Ashley V. Robson, which that explains because that's the site this is coming off of. They talked about a lot of stuff. The topic came up when Robinson remarked, "You have your fingers in so many aspects of DC Comics' pie. You're doing comics, you're doing animation, you're doing live action, you're doing film. How would you describe your relationship with DC?" And then the quote I said at the top of this is what he said, which also adds, "It's almost like you're a professional writer or something." That's what the interviewer said. So, yeah. Okay. Sounds like I was going to say something not nice, but I'm not going to say it. Next and last up,
DC is using its Absolute line to quietly set the stage for Vertigo Comics returning in 2026. Okay. DC has informed retailers that all of the Absolute DC books in February 26 and some in January will come with a preview of titles from the upcoming Vertigo Comics relaunch. It'll kick off with a preview of February's The Nice House by the Sea #7 and January's Absolute Wonder Woman #16. One thing DC is being careful about, and to assuage any retailer concerns, is to make sure their previews of Vertigo's mostly adults-only books are age-appropriate to the Absolute DC Comics, which is for ages 15+. Okay.
Interesting.
Hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with a little bit of cross-promotion, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, you're right. There's no real but to that. The thing I was thinking about is like usually the Vertigo's imprint was for side stuff, not necessarily side stuff, because you had the whole Vertigo characters and whatnot, and then this other stuff that that other folks are doing. I'm not sure why it needed to be tied to why tied to the Absolute line, but hey, like you said, ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. We'll see how that works out for them.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, folks, that is it for the news of the week. Can we get one last ad read?
Our last ad read of the night. Keep our podcast free by shopping at Amazon. Visit cspn.us, then click the Keep Our Podcast Free link at the top of the page. From there, scroll down and click on the Amazon link to shop. Purchase items from Amazon as you normally would, whether it's books, music, electronics, jewelry, apparel, or Marvel Legends. For every purchase made on Amazon through our link, Amazon sends the CSPN a payment that helps us keep the Comic Book Chronicles podcast free for our listeners at no extra cost to you. Amazon.com through cspn.us. Do it today.
All right, folks, that's it. Hey, this was probably our show this past year, if anything else.
We recorded on a holiday, folks.
Well, there's like that too. Even some of our holiday shows or after holiday shows were a little bit longer than this. But, hey, it is what it is. It's the beginning of the year. Things are a little slow. Next week will probably be slightly different. So, but with that, folks, I have been Roddykat. You can find me at Roddykat on Twitter, Blue Sky. You can find me at News Nerds Need on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can find me at CBCaps on Instagram. Agent_70 on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. You can find this here podcast on the Cold Slither Podcast Network. That's cspn.us.
Do it today.
And you can find us on your podcast provider place of choice, whether it be Google Play, Apple, iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the Cold Slither Podcast Network SoundCloud page.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave us all the positive 5-star reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts, because that helps people find our show.
And, of course, I probably should have added, like I had started to do, you can find us every Thursday night, mostly every Thursday night, unless, something happens, or a holiday, as it happens around this time of year, on youtube.com/TheKliqNation and twitch.tv/Comic Book Chronicles.
Make sure to click like, subscribe, hit that smash that like button. And the notification button so you know when we're on live and direct.
The first one of those of the year, folks. Don't you love it? Like I said, we'll be back next week. Like I said, a little bit bigger slate of comics. I don't remember if there's any. I know we were talking earlier, but I don't think there was any shows that was coming out by.
Right. Just very quickly, Stranger Things finished over the course of New Year's Eve/day, and it was to me, it was a fairly satisfactory ending. Your mileage may vary, but I was fairly satisfied with the ending, so I'm good with that.
Okay. And therein lies that. And this, folks, has been the Comic Book Chronicles. Peace.
Peace. One, remember.
Merry New Year!
Salute, mi familia. Salute.